Hey, how's it going, everyone? Zach D Productions here, and I am here with a personal discussion video for you guys. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. I believe the last one I did was Am I Happy with Myself, which a lot of you guys seem to really like that video. I was actually pretty surprised to see that a discussion video like this could do so well on a channel like mine. And so because of that, I might do more of these. We'll see. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in. And just from reading the comments from the Am I Happy with Myself video, that video has seemed to help a lot of you guys out and encourage a lot of you guys, which I'm definitely grateful for, and I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate the kind words and everything like that. So hopefully this video will do the same thing. So for this video, I wanted to go into the topic of treating life like it's a competition, because this is something that has been on my mind lately and why I believe you shouldn't treat life like it's a competition. And I know I kind of went into this topic a little bit in my Am I Happy with Myself video, but I guess in this video I wanted to go more in depth with that whole subject. So I guess in some ways this is Am I Happy with Myself Part 2. So it's been on my mind lately when it comes to treating life like it's a competition, because I did a lot of reflecting more recently, and I look back at how I was then, like even just a few years ago, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, even around that time, this is something that I struggled with personally. And as I've gotten older, especially in these more recent years, I've just kind of given up on trying to keep up. I think it does get to that point where, you stop giving a crap about what other people do, because, again, like I explained in my Am I Happy with Myself video, discussion video, I did go over the fact that I did compare myself to others, and this kind of falls into that category as well. It's something that I struggled with, and it's something that I just had to get over. Because, when it comes to being in competition with others, I feel like this is something that is more relevant to men than it is women, but I could be wrong on that. But I just know that men by nature are just generally more competitive. Now, for me personally, I've never been the most competitive person, but this is something that I totally understand, especially like when you're in high school, you would poke fun at one another because you accomplished something that someone else didn't. Like, oh, look at me, I got my first car at 16. Oh, look at me, I got this job, this well-paying job. And oh, look at me, I got married to this person and all this and that, yada, yada, yada. You know exactly how this goes. Just this whole competition game that some people like to play. I mean, this is something that a lot of people need to get over. And again, I understand that it's something that happens more in high school, because obviously when you're in high school, you're going to be more immature than you are as an adult, obviously. So, but this is something that is even common with adults, like adult men. Like, this is like a trait that some of them just haven't let go of for some reason, and I really don't know why. And a lot of people just like to rub what they have in some other people's faces, and that's just not right. Now, again, like I said in my Am I Happy with Myself discussion, which I know I keep plugging that video, but if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. I definitely encourage it. But like I said in that video, at the end of the day, you just have to take a look at what you have, and think to yourself, would you really trade that for what somebody else has? Just because what that person has is what's considered the norm in today's society. Like, it's normal to get your license or get your first car at the age of 16. Now, for the record, I did not get my license or my first car at 16. I did eventually, but not at 16. And it goes both ways with everything else, like the same thing applies to everything else, basically. Like the same thing with marriage. Like, society wants you to believe that there's something wrong with you if you're not married by your early to mid-20s. But, that's not the case. It doesn't mean you're a loser. Same thing with getting certain jobs. Like, oh, if you don't have this type of job or this type of position or whatever the case may be by this particular age, by age 20 or 21 or whatever, that means you're a loser. Not necessarily. I think the thing is that a lot of people have to realize is everyone is on totally different paths in life. And that's something that people need to remember and need to realize. Not everybody's going to be on the same path as you. Just because, you achieve something by a certain age, that doesn't mean you should expect everyone else to. And, the thing is, I blame society standards for this because it's what's considered the norm, But I think that as time is moving forward, this is something that we are kind of moving away from. We are kind of moving away from these sort of stigmas of like what's considered the norm, for better or worse. I do think in some ways society has gone downhill. You guys know this. You guys know how I feel about, politics today and basically just how things are today, how people are, and just how some people respond to certain things and what have you. I think a lot of it's ridiculous, to be honest. But I do think in some ways, we are kind of getting out of this sort of stigma that like this idea of what's considered the norm or what has been for years, and just kind of moving away from that and just letting people do their own thing and live their own life. So I think in that sense, we're heading in a better direction, but you get the idea. But that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It's just about basically realizing that not everyone's on the same path as you. That it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with somebody just because they don't have what you have or what have you. And a lot of times, it's not always by individual choice. Like, just because, for instance, I'm not married, that doesn't mean that it's my choice to not be married. So, again, it's not always by individual choice. And this is something that I eventually had to get over. I had to get over that life is not a competition, and I had to stop looking at what other people had and just kind of ignore them. You know what I'm saying? And it gets to a point where you just kind of give up. You just give up on trying to keep up. Like, you just say, all right, I give up, I'm just going to do my own thing. And that's kind of where I'm at. So, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's basically just realizing that, you're not going to live the same life as everyone else. That's all that it means. It doesn't mean that you're a loser because you didn't do this by this age, or you didn't do that by this age, or you didn't accomplish this goal in life, or you didn't achieve this, or whatever the case may be. It's just a thing where it's like, again, like I keep saying, everyone's on their own path. Not everyone is on the same path. So there's that. So I hope that this is something that you all will keep in mind. Hopefully that this video will help some of you. If you are someone that does struggle with, just comparing yourself to others and thinking life is a competition, because honestly, it's not. It's not. All right. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. So let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Take care and have a good one.